I'll be drafting on this brown paper here, and I will be starting with the front pattern. So I will draft the front pattern separately and the back pattern separately for your detailed explanation on how to achieve this style, right? So the first thing I'm going to do on my paper here, I'm going to mark, I will measure 2 inches. These 2 inches will serve as the overlap, right? So I'm going to, for the front, so these 2 inches that I have here, my measurement is starting from this line. So this will serve as the lapping for the front, right? The width of the lap is going to be 2 inches. That's what I have here. On a no, I will just cut this on my fabric, but I want to make sure that I show you everything with this brown paper. Hope that is clear. So the next thing I'm going to do is to come down 1 inch, and that 1 inch will be the width of my shoulder seam allowance. Hope that is clear. Because of what we want to do for the shoulder, instead of half inches to join the shoulders of back and front together, I'm going to use 1 inch. So I will mark it here as well. So our measurement is starting from this line. So this is our shoulder line now, right? Or the guideline. So on this guideline here, I will measure the neck width. I'll be using 3.5 inches. I'll mark it there this way. Then shoulder divided by 2. I'll also mark it here 7.75. Then from this shoulder here, I will mark the sleeve because it's cut together with the sleeve, right? So I'm going to use 10 inches for the sleeve, including the seam allowance to turn the tip later on with half inch, right? So that's what I have there. Then the next thing I'm going to do at this part here, this end here, I'm going to measure, I'm going to count that for my slope. So I'll make use of 1.225, right? Then I'll go up 1 inch from there, right? So this is it. I'll be connecting this straight to the neck width. Then on this neck width, I'll go up 1 inch. I'll be connecting this. So this is our shoulder seam allowance of 1 inch. Hope that is clear. From the shoulder, I will be coming down for the sleeve opening. So I'm just going to make use of my bust circumference, right? My bust measurement. So from shoulder to bust is 10 inches, and this will just serve as my sleeve opening as well. Hope that is clear. Then I will measure from shoulder to under bust 14 inches. Shoulder to my waist is 17 inches. That's it there. Then the basque or that shape, here I have 4 inches extra from my waist to where to have that shape at the waist area, right? So I just added 4 inches to that, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to achieve that. So now I'm going to make this line to a straight line. So now this is our bust line, under bust line, and this is our waistline. This is 4 inches, right? So measure what you have from this point here. Just measure or measure it to this part here to make sure that it's equal. Just measure whatever thing you have here. Yeah, I have 20. That's I'm including the 2 inches that I have here, right? So here I have 20. I'm going to mark it here as well, the 20 inches, just to have this line straight. That's the extent of this, right? So I'll mark it here as well. Then at this part here, I'm going to come in half inch. Then I'll connect it straight up this way. Hope that is clear. So just a little bit slant, right? Then the next thing I'm going to do is to come in half inch again, right? So whatever thing I have from here, this way to this point here, this point that we have here, I will measure it here, then come in 2.5 inches, right? So it's just as if you are having it straight this way, then you come in 3 inches, right? Remember, you remove half, so that's 2.5 now. Or just measure the total measurement that you have on this sleeve opening here, place it at your under bust, right? Then come in 3 inches. That's what I have here. Then I'm just going to make a curve here. So I will make a curve here this way. I'll use my curve ruler to connect it this way. So this will blend this way. Right. Now, on the under bust here, that's where we are going to have that cut. That's where we are going to have our gathers as well. So measure your under bust circumference divided by 4, right? Measure it here. So if you don't know how to calculate for your under bust, just use your waist measurement, your waist circumference, right? To divide it by 4. So my waist circumference divided by 4 is 7.75. I'll mark it here this way. Remember, we are starting the line from here, not this side, right? So it's 7.75. Then I added seam allowance of 1.5 inches. So this is what I have here. So the remaining excess I have here, now let's measure it. Here I have 5.5 inches. That will be for my gathers. Hope that is clear. So this excess that I have, this 5.5 inches that I have here, is what that's what is going to give me room to gather at the under bust. Hope that is clear. Then I'll come to my waistline. So now I also have my waist circumference divided by 4 here. I will add 1.5 inches for side seam, right? That's it there. Then this line that I have here, I'm just going to make use of I'm just going to consider it as my hip circumference, but it's not really up to my hip because it's just 4 inches that I add. If I'm sewing this to attach skirt to it, I will make sure 8 inches, not 4. So that means it's half of my waist to my hip. So I'm just going to make use of, instead of my hip circumference, I'm just going to add 1 inch to whatever thing I have on my waist. Hope that is clear. So I use 7.75 for my waist circumference, right? So I will just add 1 inch to that. That will give me 8.75, right? Then I'll add the 1.5 inches for side seam. That's it there. So I'll connect the line. So I'm just going to connect this one since this is one that we are going to cut through, right? So I'll connect this straight. Then I will connect this to this. Hope you understand the calculation that I've done here. Now, for that V shape or the basque effect, what I will do is that here we have 4 inches. Then on this line here, I'm just going to come down 1 inch. So if you want that from your waist to where the gathers for the down part to start from, if you want it to a bit wider, then you can make use of 2 inches to 3 inches, depending on how you want it, but you still want it to slant. So I'll be coming down from the waist. I'll come down 1 inch. I'll be using 1 inch. Then I'll connect it to these 4 inches here, right? So this is what we have. Now we have cut every part here is already ready. So I'll move to the neck now. So the neck depth for the front, I'm going to connect it to I'm not going to connect it straight to my under bust. My under bust is 14 inches. So I'm not going to connect it all the way to 14 inches. It will be too open for me. So I'll make use of 13 inches, right? So 13 inches, I'll mark it this way. So remember, this is the 2 inches that we'll have for our lap, right? So instead of connecting it to this, I'm just going to connect it straight and enter into the lap, the 2 inches that we have here for the lapping. So I'll place my ruler this way. I'll be connecting it to the 13 inches. So my under bust is 14. I go up 1 inch because I want to make use of 13, not 14. So I'll connect it straight to that 13 inches. So this is for the neck depth for the front. So in order to avoid gaping, right? To avoid gaping, although the style, because of the gathers at the under bust, is going to at least gape a little bit, have it excess, but I still want it to be firm. So because of that, there's a little twist I want to do here. It's not a must. This is not a standard. You can skip this trick I want to use now. But if you want yours to come out very firm and beautiful and professional, you can do this too. So I will measure what I have this way. I'll measure the neck depth line this way. I'll mark the midpoint of it, right? Then from that midpoint, I'm just going to make use of half inch. So I'll be doing form of a dark taking on this area here, right? So I'm just going to connect this as if I'm connecting it to my bust point. So as for example, now this is our bust line, right? So if I was to mark my nipple to nipple plus 1 inch, that's how I'm going to connect it to. So I'll just connect this half inch to it this way. So with this now, I'm going to close this up before cutting it on my fabric. So not only this, at the down part here on the under bust, I'm also going to go up quarter of an inch, right? Not up to half but quarter. I'll just go up like quarter of an inch. I'll also connect it this way. So I'll just blend it from this lap this way. I'll just blend it to the line, right? As I've mentioned, it's not a must. You can skip this part, but I'm just going to do this in order for my dress to come out to relax well, right? So that it does not puff off or grip in any part. So this is the line I'm going to make use of now, right? Why this, I'm going to cut it on this day. No, this down part here on the under bust is going to cut on fold. So we don't need this part here, right? We don't need, this is the only lap that we need, which is where the lapping is going to be on the other bust, under bust, right? So when we are gathering this, we'll mark the 2 inches first, then we'll now measure for our under bust circumference divided by 4 that we have here plus the seam allowance there. The excess we have here will now be for the gathers. Hope that is clear. So this is all you need for the front pattern. So I'll be cutting this out. To close this up, what I will do is that I'm just going to cut one side open this way. Then I will place my gum on it this way. So this is how our pattern is going to be. So I'm going to cut this on my fabric. I'll be adding half inch on this area here. I'll also add half inch too on this area, right? So join this together. Then at the down part here, you can also add half inch too at the down part here to join it to the gathers at the down part, right? Add half inch here. Every other place I've added seam allowance to, just this place and this place to join these two together. That's also we'll cut for the back. I'll be using this for my back panel. I need to mark for my zip. This is for my zip, right? 1.5 inches for my zip. Then I also come down 1 inch for my guideline here, right? The neck width for the back and front has to be the same, 3.5. Then shoulder divided by 2. I'll also mark it here. Then from there, I'm going to extend it to my sleeve 10. I'll come down for my slope of 1.25, go up 1 inch from there, then I'll connect it to the neck width this way. Then at the neck width here, I'll go up 1 inch, then connect it this way. So this 1 inch that we have as our shoulder here, on our shoulder here, will become the shoulder seam allowance. Hope that is clear. Then at this point here, I'm going to measure down the same way we do for the front. Shoulder to bust is 10 inches, which will serve as our base for the neck opening. Then shoulder to under bust is 14. Then shoulder to my waist is 17. Then remember the 4 inches that I added for the front to extend the sharp, the basque. I've also added it here as well. So I'll make it to a straight line. So this is our bust line. our under bust line, our waistline, and this is the 4 inches. Whatever thing we have, or total of what we have from the tip here to the end, we have it too on our bust line here this way for to block, right? Then from there you come in 1/2 inch, then you connect it up. So that's it. Then from there again you come in 1/2 inch. That's where you are going to connect the curve on, right? Then at our under bust, whatever thing you have total here, you have it here too. Then you come in 3 inches, the same way we do for the front, right? Then you use a curve ruler to connect this, right? So this is what I have now. So if you still don't understand it, this is just a recap. We are just repeating what we did for the front. The only difference between this and the front is that this part here is for my zip. By for the front, I make it as a lap, right? So I make use of 2 inches, but yeah, I make use of 1.5 inches. That's for my zip seam allowance. The opening is going to be at the back for the zip, then it's going to be lap at the front. Hope that is clear. Now at my under bust here, I'm going to mark my waist circumference divided by 4. If you have the measurement of your under bust, you can have it here too, divided by 4, right? So have it here, then you add 1.5 inches, or add your size seam allowance, whatever thing you want to use, half or one, whichever measurement you want to use as your size seam, you add it there. I also do the same thing at my waist circumference divided by 4, then add 1.5 inches for my size seam allowance. Then at the tip here, which is the end part here, I will add 1 inch to my waist circumference divided by 4. All right, so, and I'm starting it with this line here. So here 8.75, then plus 1.5 inches for side seam. I'll mark it here this way. Then I'll connect the same way we do for the front, right? I'll connect it this way. I'll connect this way. Then remember, I make use of 1 inch for my waist. I just measured down 1 inch. So that's what I have here. Shaping my zip, for the zip not to budge, right? So this 1.5 inches that I have here for my zip seam allowance, I'm going to remove 1/2 inch away from that. So it's just your normal way of removing excess from your back, right? So I will connect it this way. So now that I've removed it from the zip seam allowance, I will add it back this way and connect it to somewhere between the bust area, right? So this will now serve as our zip seam allowance. I still have my 1.5 here, and I've removed 1/2 inch away from here. Hope that I'm not going to make use of up to that 4 inches depth. I'm going to make use of 2 inches, right? If you want your back and front basque to be the same thing, you can just connect this point here to the end here. But if you want it a bit higher, like you don't want it to be too deep, then you can connect it this way. So that's what I'm going to do here. So instead of connecting it to this part here, I connect it to half of it, right? Because I don't want that V to be too pronounced at the back. Hope that is clear. So that's what I have here. So another thing again I'm going to do for my zip to also relax, after removing these inches away from my zip, I'm also going to remove it at the waist area here. So on this waist area, I'm going to mark 1/2 inch on both sides, a total of 1 inch. I'll connect it this way. So this, now I'm going to close this up. Hope that is clear. So now that's it for this. Then I'll move over to the neck. So my shoulder to the neck depth for the back is going to be V2, but I don't want it to be as low as the front, right? For the front, we make use of 13. For the back, I'm going to make use of 7 inches, which is here. Then I'll connect this to the neck width. So our zip is stopping here. Hope that is clear. Then I'm just going to remove some excess at this neck area so that it will relax at my back. So I'll mark the midpoint. Just take half inch away from that, or quarter of an inch away from that. Then I will close this up when I'm cutting it on my fabric. I'll just indicate it here. So this is it. I'm going to close this up, right? So this is all you need for this pattern. I'm going to cut it out. Hope it's clear. You can watch it again to understand it. Then I'm going to close this dart here. So to do that, I'm just going to cut one side this way. I'll close it up this way. What we have for the back. So these are the two panels we have from the back. So the only place I'm adding seam allowance is here and here. So make sure that you don't get it confused, whereby you will not turn it like this. Your dress will not come out nice if you turn it upside down like this. So for me, I can see this line this way, that it goes this way. So you can just use something to indicate the down part and the upper part. So I will add half inch here, right, to join this together. I also add half inch at the down part to join it to the gathers for the down part. So every other place has been added. So this is for my front and this is for my back, right? So just a quick recap. You can see that this is meeting at the side here. So it has to meet at the side because we are going to sew them together at the side, right? So whatever thing you are doing, make sure that this meets back at the side. Then these two also have to meet too at this armhole area, right? It has to meet too at the shoulder here and also meet too at the armhole area. This is the front. The centers are where the adjustments are. Hope that is clear. So these are all my patterns for the front and for the back. This is for the front and this is for the back. So I'm just going to cut them on my fabric and I will iron. I'll cut them alongside my lining. Then I'm going to use this to sew a beautiful dress. In fact, the way the dress will come out with all the excess that we have removed from all the areas to come out so beautiful. So if you want to see how I'm going to make that happen, watch it in my next video. I'm going to upload the video after this one, uploading the sewing part. I will see you in my next one. Please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button. On this channel, we don't just show you styles, we show you in details on how you can remove every excess so that you don't have what I ordered versus what I got, right? Sometimes it's the excess that is bulking on your dresses that usually give your clothes funny shapes. But with this method now, you are going to have your clothes perfectly. So you want to see the results of how this pattern is going to come out, please watch it in my next one. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. I will see you in my next one. Bye.